Okay, if you see the neck region, slide, this figure, you can see the first figure is the anterior portion of the neck. From anterior, from anterior view, you can see the neck. Okay, so most important muscle, you can see the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Okay, and the second picture, you can see the sternocleidomastoid muscle in lateral view of the neck. Okay, and posteriorly you will see the trapezius, what you have studied long back. So sternocleidomastoid is the main muscle which divides the neck into anterior and posterior triangle. So here you can see this is the anterior triangle. In this second figure, what you see, just anterior to the sternocleidomastoid muscle is the anterior triangle of the neck, and posterior to the sternocleidomastoid muscle is the posterior triangle of the neck. So we see first the sternocleidomastoid muscle. It divides, we have seen, the neck into anterior and posterior triangle. Anterior triangle, I am repeating the same, anterior triangle which lies anterior to the sternocleidomastoid, posterior triangle which lies posterior to the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So what is the origin of this muscle? As its name suggests, it has sternal head and clavicular head, sternocleido. So sternal head, which is tendinous, and it arises from the superolateral part of the front of the manubrium, that is anterior surface of the manubrium. You have studied the sternum as well as the clavicle. So second origin is the clavicular head, which arises from superior surface of medial 2/3 of the clavicle. Okay. Superior surface of medial 2/3 of the clavicle. So insertion of this muscle is over the lateral surface of the mastoid process and to the lateral 1/3 of the superior nuchal line, which is present on the occipital bone. So sternocleidomastoid. Origin from the sternum, that is manubrium sterni, as well as the clavicle, and insertion is over the mastoid process. The nerve supply, the motor fibers, they are supplied by the spinal root of accessory nerve, and it also receives the proprioceptive fibers from ventral rami of C2 and C3. Then if you see the action of this muscle, if one muscle contract, that is from one side, it tilts the head towards the shoulder of same side and chin to the opposite side. Right? And if both the muscles, they acting together, it draws the head forward like when you eat in eating position. Okay, your chin is forward, your head is forward, lifting the head from below. So this is about the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And if you see this figure, you will see this is the muscle, the sternocleidomastoid muscle. In front of this will be the anterior triangle. Okay. In today's lecture, we'll see detail the anterior triangle. If you see the anterior triangle, it has again the boundaries. We have seen any triangle has the boundaries, roof, floor, and its content. As you see in cubital fossa, in popliteal fossa. So here you see this is the anterior triangle. So what are the boundaries of the anterior triangle? So what are the boundaries of anterior triangle? Anteriorly, you see the anterior median line of neck. Posteriorly, anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And superiorly, the base of the mandible. And line drawn from the angle of the mandible to the mastoid process. So here you can see this is the median line. Anterior
Ma'am, could you do
median
something
line.
about the echo?
I have to see. Can you hear it clearly? Median line. This is the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And this will be the base of mandible. Also, from the angle of the mandible to the mastoid process. In this picture, you can see in lateral view the base of the anterior triangle. Okay, so I am repeating the boundaries. Anteriorly, anterior median line of the neck. Posteriorly, the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Superiorly, the base of the mandible and line drawn from the angle of the mandible to the mastoid process. So this is the area of the triangle. What you see in picture. This triangle is divided into further small triangles. The further division, that is 3.5 triangle from each side. So it has divided into digastric triangle, muscular triangle. Can you hear me clearly?
Ma'am.
Digastric triangle, muscular triangle, carotid triangle, and submental triangle. So we'll see one by one each of this triangle with their boundaries and content. If you see the digastric triangle, the boundaries are, here you can see, this is the hyoid bone. Okay? Hyoid bone. This will be the anterior belly of digastric, and this will be the posterior belly of the digastric muscle. So this will be the anterior belly of digastric, and this will be the posterior belly of digastric muscle. So boundaries of this triangle, superiorly there will be the base of mandible. Here you can see the base of mandible. Antero-inferiorly, the anterior belly of digastric. So here you can see this is the anterior belly of digastric. Postero-inferiorly, there will be the posterior belly of digastric. So posterior inferiorly, there will be the posterior belly of digastric with the stylohyoid, the muscle which is attached to the styloid process to the hyoid bone. Okay. So this will be the digastric triangle. It has roof, that is covered by the skin, superficial fascia which contain the platysma, cervical branch of the facial nerve, and ascending anterior branch of the transverse cutaneous nerve of neck. Then there will be deep cervical fascia which enclose the submandibular salivary gland. So the important content of this region is the submandibular salivary gland. So we have seen roof, then floor of this triangle, which is formed by the two muscles, that is mylohyoid anteriorly and the hyoglossus muscle posteriorly. In this figure, you can appreciate this is the mandible, base of the mandible. Okay, this is anterior belly of digastric. This is posterior belly of digastric. This is hyoid bone, and here you see the two muscles which are present in the floor of the mandible, floor of the digastric triangle, that is mylohyoid anteriorly and hyoglossus posteriorly. Most posteriorly, you'll see the middle constrictor of the pharynx, the small part of the middle constrictor of the pharynx. So the content of this triangle, main content I have already told you, that is the submandibular salivary gland. Submandibular salivary gland. It is also called as the submandibular triangle. Okay, submandibular salivary gland with the submandibular group of lymph nodes. With submandibular group of lymph node. There will be mylohyoid nerves and vessels, submental artery, and also the hypoglossal nerve, that is 12th cranial nerve. Okay, so in dissection in submandibular region, you can see all these structures in the digastric triangle. So I am repeating the boundaries of the digastric triangle again. Superiorly, there will be the base of mandible. Here you can see. Antero-inferiorly, the anterior belly of digastric. Posterior-inferiorly, there will be the posterior belly of digastric. So this is about the digastric triangle. Then there will be a submental triangle. Submental triangle, which is half in one side of the neck and half in another side of the neck. So this is the median triangle. Okay, it is formed by on each side by the anterior belly. So here you can see in this figure, you can see this is the base of the mandible. This is chin, the median portion. Okay. Then here you can see the two bellies of digastric muscle, and this is the hyoid bone. So this is anterior belly of digastric muscle on both sides, and hyoid bone which will form the base of the triangle, and apex or the apex is formed by the chin. Apex is formed by the chin. So this is the triangle, that is submental triangle. So the boundaries are on each side the anterior belly of digastric muscle, base is formed by the body of the hyoid bone, and apex is by the chin. Floor of this muscle is formed by the right and left mylohyoid muscle. So in this figure, you can appreciate this is the mylohyoid muscle which forms the floor of the triangle, and this is the median trachea of the mylohyoid muscle. What you appreciate in green color. Then what are the content of this triangle? That is, main important content is the submental group of lymph nodes. Submental group of lymph node. And the small submental vein will join to form the anterior jugular vein. So here you can see the anterior jugular vein, and these are the small submental veins. Main content is the submental group of lymph node. This submental group of lymph node, they drain the superficial tissue of the lower part of the chin, the middle portion of the lower lip, the most important, that is tip of tongue, lower of mouth. So this lymph nodes, they drain the tip of tongue. It is most important lymphatic drainage of this group of lymph node. And third will be the carotid triangle, which will be the largest triangle in these all subdivisions. What are the boundaries of this triangle? We'll see. Here you can see this is the carotid triangle. Again, this is hyoid bone. This is anterior belly of digastric. This is posterior belly of digastric. This will be the omohyoid muscle. That is superior belly of omohyoid, and this will be the inferior belly of omohyoid, which is present in the posterior triangle. The superior belly of omohyoid, which is present in the anterior triangle. So in this figure, you can appreciate this will be the carotid triangle, which is the largest subdivision of the anterior triangle. Yes. So anterosuperiorly, you can appreciate this is anterosuperiorly. They are bounded by, this triangle is bounded by posterior belly of digastric with the stylohyoid. So this is the posterior belly of digastric, and this will be the stylohyoid muscle, which you see in yellow color, and this green color, that will be the posterior belly of digastric. So it is bounded by anterosuperiorly the posterior belly of digastric and stylohyoid muscle. Antero-inferiorly, it is bounded by superior belly of omohyoid. As name suggests, omohyoid, it is coming from the shoulder or from the scapula. Omo is scapula, which extend to the hyoid bone. Right? Omohyoid. So antero superiorly, you know the boundaries, the posterior belly of digastric and stylohyoid muscle. Then antero-inferiorly, it is bounded by the superior belly of omohyoid, and posteriorly, it is bounded by anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So these are the boundaries. Again, roof, it is covered by the skin. Superficial fissure, which again contains the same, that is platysma, the cervical branch of the facial nerve, and the transverse cutaneous nerve of the neck. Then investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. The floor of this carotid triangle. Floor of this carotid triangle. So here you can see the outline of the carotid triangle. Just below it, you will see the floor of the carotid triangle, that is by the middle constrictor of the pharynx, then the inferior constrictor of the pharynx, and there will be the thyrohyoid membrane. Thyrohyoid membrane, which is pierced by internal laryngeal artery and internal laryngeal nerve. Here you can appreciate this. So I'm repeating again the boundaries of the triangle. See, this is the carotid triangle. Here you see the hyoid bone. This is anterior belly. This is posterior belly. So this part, the antero-superiorly, it is bounded by the posterior belly of digastric and stylohyoid muscle. Then antero-inferiorly, it is bounded by the omohyoid muscle, that is superior belly of omohyoid, and posteriorly it is bounded by anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Now, what are the content of this triangle? As we have seen, it is the largest triangle, largest subdivision of the anterior triangle. It has arteries, it has veins, nerves, also the lymph nodes. So the artery, very important, the common carotid artery with its subdivisions, the external carotid artery with its branches, common carotid artery and its division, that is external carotid artery and internal carotid artery. External carotid artery with its branches, that is superior thyroid, ascending pharyngeal, lingual, facial, and occipital. So here you can see colored diagram showing all the boundaries with its content. Here you see the common carotid artery, its division, that is external carotid artery, which is superficial. This is internal carotid artery. Then these are the branches of the external carotid artery. These are the branches of the external carotid artery, that is superior thyroid artery. Here you can appreciate the ascending pharyngeal artery, then lingual artery, then this is facial artery, and this is occipital artery. And what you see, the vein, that is internal jugular vein and its tributaries. So here you can see, this is the internal jugular vein with its tributaries. Then the nerves. So the vagus nerve with the superior laryngeal branch. So this is the vagus nerve. Here you can see in yellow color, and this is the superior laryngeal nerve branch. Here you can see the spinal accessory nerve. Okay. Spinal accessory nerve. Here you can appreciate the hypoglossal nerve. This is the hypoglossal nerve. So vagus nerve with its superior laryngeal branch, then spinal accessory nerve, hypoglossal nerve with ansa cervicalis. What is this ansa cervicalis? We'll see later on. And you see the sympathetic chain. If you deeply dissect the carotid sheath, posterior to the carotid sheath, there will be the presence of sympathetic chain. Then carotid sheath and its content. What is carotid sheath? We'll see later on. Then lymph node, then deep cervical group of lymph node, which is situated along the internal jugular vein. Here you can appreciate the lymph nodes which are present. So here you can see this is the common carotid artery, its division. This is internal jugular vein, and these are the lymph node, the deep cervical group of lymph node, the jugulo-digastric, which are present just below the posterior belly of digastric muscle, and jugulo-omohyoid muscle. Above, below the superior belly, you see the jugulo-omohyoid group of lymph nodes. So these are the content of the carotid triangle. The carotid sheath is the condensation of the fascia around the carotid arteries, which contain mainly the common carotid, internal carotid artery, and internal jugular vein with the vagus nerve. So here you can appreciate in this figure, this is the carotid sheath. Okay. So these are the content, the internal carotid artery, this is the vagus nerve and the internal jugular vein. This is the carotid sheath, this is transverse section. Here you can appreciate the artery with the internal jugular vein and vagus nerve. Anteriorly, posteriorly, you will see the sympathetic chain. Anteriorly, you see the relation of the ansa cervicalis. You see the relation of the ansa cervicalis. What is this ansa cervicalis? So this is the condensation of the fascia around the carotid arteries, the common carotid, internal carotid, and internal jugular vein and the vagus nerve. It is formed by the investing layer of the pretracheal, prevertebral layer of the deep cervical fascia. You have not completed this lecture, that is deep cervical fascia. We complete this lecture. It has many layers, that is, it has prevertebral layer, pretracheal layer. All these layers are the investing layer. These are the deep cervical fascia, okay, which covers the neck like a collar. Okay. So we'll see later on. In its anterior wall, there will be ansa cervicalis, while the cervical sympathetic chain, which is present in the posterior wall of the carotid sheath, it can be asked in MCQ, it can be asked as a short note. The sheath is thin around the vein. So this is little bit about the carotid sheath. Then we'll see the next triangle, that will be the muscular triangle. Yes, I am audible to you. Yes. So the muscular triangle. Lastly, the muscular triangle, as name suggests, it is formed by the muscle. It forms the lower part of the anterior part of the anterior triangle. Okay. The boundaries of this triangle, so this region, can you see in this figure? This region is the muscular triangle. So anteriorly, it is bounded by the anterior median line of the neck. So here you appreciate this is the anterior median line of the neck. Then posterior-superiorly, the superior belly of the omohyoid. So posterior-superiorly, this part. This will be the superior belly of omohyoid. Then posterior-inferiorly, this part, it is the lower part of the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid. So this triangle, this is the muscular triangle. Repeating the boundaries, anteriorly, the anterior median line of the neck. Posterior superiorly, the superior belly of omohyoid. And posterior inferiorly, the lower part of the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So this is the triangle, that will be the muscular triangle. The contents of this triangle, the main content of this triangle are the infrahyoid muscles. Infrahyoid, and name suggests infrahyoid, below the hyoid, inferior to the hyoid. So these are the group of muscle, that is sternohyoid, omohyoid, sternothyroid, and thyroid. These muscles have some common features. They are called as the ribbon muscle because they are also called as the strap muscle. So they are arranged in two layers, or they are supplied by the ventral rami of first, second, and third cervical nerves, and they lie on the anterior surface of the thyroid gland. Okay, so they are arranged in two layers, that is superficial layer, that is having the sternohyoid. You see in this figure, this is the hyoid bone, this is thyroid cartilage. In blue color you can appreciate this is manubrium sternae, this is scapula. So here you can see the superficial are the muscles are the omohyoid and sternohyoid. Omohyoid, that is, we have seen earlier, omohyoid means it extends from the scapula. Omo is scapula. It extends from scapula. So it has superior belly and inferior belly. So superior belly of omohyoid and this is inferior belly of omohyoid. So this is omohyoid. Then this is sternohyoid. From sternum to the hyoid bone. Sternohyoid. Then third muscle will be the sternothyroid. From sternum to the thyroid cartilage. Sternothyroid. Then thyrohyoid. So easy to remember if you remember the name of the bone. I'm again repeating omohyoid from scapula to the hyoid bone. Sternohyoid from sternum to the hyoid bone. Third will be sternothyroid from sternum to the thyroid cartilage, that is on the oblique line on the thyroid cartilage, and from the thyroid to the hyoid, that is thyrohyoid muscle. These are the infrahyoid muscle. They are the main content of this muscular triangle. We'll see what is ansa cervicalis. Ansa cervicalis, it is also called as ansa hypoglossa. You see in this figure, it is a thin U-shaped loop of nerves which is embedded in the anterior wall of the carotid sheath. Okay. It is thin U-shaped loop which is embedded in the anterior wall of the carotid sheath and it supplies the infrahyoid muscle. Just we have seen what are the infrahyoid muscle, the four main muscles, infrahyoid muscle. We have seen it supplies the infrahyoid muscle. So in this figure you can appreciate carotid sheath, you know it is present, it covers the carotid, internal carotid artery, vagus nerve and internal jugular vein in the carotid triangle, and anterior wall of this carotid sheath there will be the ansa cervicalis. So in this figure you can appreciate the position of the ansa cervicalis where it is present. How it is formed? It is formed by the two roots. So it has superior root and the inferior root. Superior root, here you can see this is the superior root and this will be the inferior root of the ansa cervicalis. So superior root, the fibers are derived from the C1 spinal nerve and they join with the descending branch of the 12th cranial nerve, that is hypoglossal nerve. Later on they leave and descend as a descend anterior to the sheath, that is as a superior root. Okay. Then inferior root, the fibers are derived from the second and third spinal nerve and it descend and wind around the internal jugular vein and then it join with the superior root. So here you can see this is the inferior root formed by the joining of these two, C2 and C3. They descend and wind around the internal jugular vein, and they descend and it join with the superior root of the ansa cervicalis. Distribution of this ansa cervicalis, that is superior root, that you can see, we supply the superior paleo-omohyoid. Superior root, we supply the superior paleo-omohyoid. The loop of ansa cervicalis, we supply the sternohyoid, sternothyroid, and the inferior paleo-omohyoid. So, infrahead muscle, all they are supplied by the ansa cervicalis. Superior root, which can supply the superior paleo-omohyoid. Inferior root or the loop, which supply the inferior paleo-omohyoid, sternohyoid, and sternothyroid. Then two more muscles, the thyrohyoid and geniohyoid, they are supplied by the separate branch from the C1 through the hypoglossal nerve. So this is the geniohyoid and thyrohyoid. So they are supplied by the separate branch from C1 through the hypoglossal nerve. So this is ansa cervicalis. There may be a short note on ansa cervicalis which will be asked. Or SAQ. Short answer question. Lastly, the external carotid artery. This is also commonly asked, the external carotid artery and its branches. So it is the terminal branch of the common carotid artery. It lies anterior to the internal carotid artery. Chief artery which supply the structure in front of the neck and the face. The course, it begins in the carotid triangle at the upper border of the thyroid cartilage. It runs upward and backward, where you can see it runs upward and backward. In carotid triangle, it is superficial and lies under the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And above the carotid triangle, it lies deep in the substance of the parotid gland. So we have seen this artery which pierces the parotid gland long back in the lecture of the parotid gland. And it is terminate behind the neck of the mandible by dividing into terminal branches, that is maxillary and superficial temporal artery. So in this figure you can appreciate this is the external carotid artery. This is internal carotid artery. So external carotid artery which is superficial and the internal carotid, and here it gives different branches. There are 8 branches of this external carotid artery. We'll see that. These are the branches of the external carotid artery. Anteriorly, it gives branch to the, that is, superior thyroid artery. Supply the thyroid gland. Then lingual artery, facial artery. Lingual artery will supply the tongue. Facial will supply the facial muscle. And posteriorly, it gives 2 branches, the posterior auricular and occipital. So we'll see here in this figure. See, this is the superior thyroid artery. This will be the lingual artery. This tortuous, which will be the facial artery, which is going to the angle of the mandible, lower border of the mandible. This is occipital artery. This one is the posterior auricular artery. From medial side, it gives the ascending pharyngeal artery. And lastly, the two terminal branches, that is maxillary artery and superficial temporal artery. So from medial side, it gives ascending pharyngeal artery, and lastly, the terminal branches, that is maxillary artery and superficial temporal artery. So at the end of this lecture, you should be able to answer, define the boundaries of the anterior triangle, then boundaries and content of all the subdivisions of the anterior triangle, that is all the four triangles, that is digastric triangle, carotid triangle, muscular triangle and submental triangle. Then describe the sternocleidomastoid muscle as a whole. Then describe ansa cervicalis and discuss about the branches of the external carotid artery. We have a small video. It shows the boundaries of the anterior triangle.